to the boardroom. This is the Business of Esports podcast.
The fastest growing entertainment phenomenon of this generation.
I, Prophet of Esports, joined today by my friend and co-host William Collis.
Yeah, we got the book of esports out. It's a big deal.
So everyone knows me as the Prophet, William as the Professor. As the Prophet of Esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner, YouGov, offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. From the keyboard to the boardroom, this is the Business of Esports after show live stream. I am Paul Dawalibi. I'm joined today by my friends and co-hosts Lindsay Poss, Jeff Cohen, Jimmy Barata, Jimmy Mondel. Jeff, as always, having technical issues.
Time out. No. More importantly, Jimmy, do you have a bulldog?
Did I just
see a bulldog walk around?
Boy? Yeah. This is my third bulldog, actually. I love this breed.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Okay, hold on.
He's my
We're going to have to take this offline after the show.
He's my thick boy. He's the inspiration.
Now, did we just become best friends?
For those of you guys who just walked into this and have no clue what's going on, welcome to the official after show of esports. What we do here is we cover all the amazing topics and news of the week from the esports and gaming industry. We look at all of it through a business and C-suite lens. But it's all the stuff that didn't make it into the podcast. It's the great news, the great articles, the great industry sort of happenings that we just couldn't fit into the 1 hour podcast. We get to cover it all here live with you guys. It's even better than the podcast because we get to do it live with you guys. And so how is everyone doing today?
Did I miss something when before I came in? What was going on?
No, you were
I just
messing around with your gear.
Lindsay was hitting me up on Discord, sliding into my DMs. I had to answer her. What am I going to do?
You have to. I mean, it's really up to you. Look at me multitasking.
Wade says, hi, everyone. Finally caught the beginning of the live show. Wade, as you can see, you haven't missed much.
Wade, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. This is the beginning you caught. But Jimmy and Jimmy, how are you guys doing?
We are good.
Yeah, we are fantastic, actually, now that you mention it. It's been a good day. It's been a busy day, but lots of great progress. And it was a solid day overall. I can't complain.
I'm still trying to schedule a meeting in Valorant because I think Zoom is just way too of the past. I want to talk deals and capture some points.
You got to go with the Tim Sweeney thing and explore your whole world in the Fortnite metaverse. Okay, we're going to live. Everything's going to be in Fortnite, so get ready.
Here's William. There you go.
Didn't Strauss-Zelnick make a joke about that on the last Take-Two earnings call? He was like, I mean, we could hold this call in GTA 5, but like, what the hell would be the point of that?
That would be great.
Guys, we had a very interesting guest on the podcast this week.
Really
just to tease, we had Adam Gertz from Morrison Rothman. Great esports attorney, super interesting guy. But one of the things he mentioned was, will there come a day where you have a certain game that more people watch it than play it, right? And GTA, you guys just reminded me, GTA, I feel like there are already today more people who watch this game than play this game, probably. I don't know.
There's a hell of a lot of people that play it, too.
That's true.
It's been out on 3 generations of consoles. Ridiculous.
By the way, the thing I would say is, it's not that unusual. Look at a lot of sports. I would argue there are a lot of traditional sports that have matured this far
that I would guess that the number of people who watch, like I would guess the number of people who watch football on TV
100%.
dwarfs the number of people who play football.
100%. None of
So,
these
like-
guys are playing football in their backyard or any.
Oh yeah, I don't know about you, Jimmy, but this is after this live stream. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing a pickup game, dude.
I'm gonna go tackle my son in the front
Lindsay,
yard.
why are you laughing? It's everybody at 10
I'm
o'clock
waiting.
at
I'm
night.
waiting for you and Jeff to start your lacrosse league.
Oh, we already have.
Yeah, I'm trying to hop into those games.
It's
I just
called-
want to
it's
say
called-
hi to people here. Jacqueline, hello. So great to see you. Wade, I'm so sorry, but thank you. Robert, great to see you here. Julian, it's this, get used to this. This is going to be the cast going forward, Julian. So it
We
is
have
a
an
big
awesome
cast tonight.
An awesome cast.
It is good. Guys, can we talk about, before I even tease the podcast and stuff, I have to get this off my chest. We have to cover this. E3, right? I don't even need to put up an article. Please, can someone tell me, any one of you, and I have now 5 of you here I can lean on. Did any of you watch E3 all 3 days, right? 3 days, and truly enjoy it as entertainment value?
The Nintendo Direct was the only thing that I watched and actually enjoyed. I tuned into the rest and it was just not good. It just wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
It just wasn't great.
Did they announce, Jimmy? They didn't have a new Breath of the Wild 2 thing, did they? I
They
couldn't
did.
even bother.
They showed the trailer.
yeah.
But they didn't.
And they
Yeah,
like,
they didn't
Metroid
name
Dread.
it.
They did Metroid 4 and 5 at the same time. Like lots of big things in Nintendo's world, but for everyone else, it was pretty disappointing. And a lot of people were saying, did Sony make a mistake by skipping E3? No. No.
I feel like everyone said the same thing last year. Didn't Sony skip E3? It was like the same conversation.
But none of these reveal shows seem to ever be good or have any value. Like, I don't understand. Why do they keep doing them then?
Summer Games Fest was cool. That was cool with Elden Ring, but that's pretty much it. Like,
Wait, Elden Ring wasn't even unveiled at E3. I thought the new trailer
I
dropped.
thought it
at
was
E3.
too.
I don't know.
It
When
was-
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, I got
the
that
year
really
Keanu
wrong on the
Reeves was there,
podcast.
that was pretty sick. Were any of you guys at that? I was at that. It was pretty sick.
yeah,
Which
that
one?
was cool with Keanu and Cyberpunk.
Microsoft 2 years ago when
Because
Keanu
he's been,
came
I
out.
think, to a couple of he's made a couple of
The
E3
one where he was
appearances, I
surprised.
think.
I think it was.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago. The last in-person E3
Mhm.
was pretty sick.
But it wasn't because
was
of
cool.
E3. It was because of Keanu Reeves, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
But, like,
And I
that's
think
kind of
even
part of it. It's
that
just-
wasn't
it's
at E3. It was like
spectacle.
Microsoft's own thing too, wasn't it? Like,
This is what I was going to ask you guys is, do you think that after this, there's really a need for a centralized event? Or do you think like Nintendo will just host its own show from now on, given that it was like the only successful thing there?
I kind of think this proves that there needs to be a centralized thing because it's like doing it this disparate sort of way, and also the fact that it's not live, not live, in person. Like being at E3, especially as someone in the industry, it's cool. Like getting to go out and see people, meet people, like that for an industry person is cool. And then also, for the fans, which I don't know when they started letting fans into E3. Maybe it was like
5
maybe
years.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. I think that's pretty cool. Like being there and feeling the passion, and that helps. Like having the stuff on people can watch games on Twitch. People can watch game trailers during the Game Awards, if you will. I know you guys like to joke about that, but it didn't feel.
I'm never
going
going to win one. I'm never going to win one because those awards are hot garbage, okay?
Oh my god.
Now you won't.
The thing I point out kind of interesting, just to have some nuance here, is like there is sort of a holdout advantage, which is if you're the last person at E3 with good content, you sort of benefit because you get all the benefit of having a direct show yourself, plus all the additional ad dollars E3 puts in. So you might argue this is kind of the best possible position in Nintendo because they get all the benefits of having their own conference without having to organize or market their own conference.
yeah, I think. Sorry, continue.
No, Jimmy, I was just going to say, like, anecdotally, I actually think E3 wouldn't have drawn that great viewership if it wasn't for streamers commenting on E3, right? Like, the largest audiences were like XQC Stream, who was watching E3, or Shroud Stream, who was watching E3. Like, I think E3 on its own, without the sort of smug streamer commentary, was probably like not dead in the water from an audience standpoint, but probably not anywhere near what they might think they should get.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I think even to Jeff's point, like that in-person experience, like last week we were talking about museums for these sorts of things. Like E3 is the perfect opportunity to engage your audience in that way. And if there's nothing interactive, then right, you're just watching trailers with a bunch of people, which is not the experience that I think that E3 stands for in many people's minds.
Can before, I'm just going to get to some comments here, but before, does anyone here agree with me? Okay, I want to make this law, and we need a lawyer on this, but it should be a law in gaming, okay? That if you cannot play your game, you cannot show your game.
Ooh.
I don't want to see a game I can't play.
Well, there's definitely a version of that law I would agree to, which is no cinematic trailer, only reveals.
Right.
Like,
right. I want gameplay trailers.
Those cinematic trailers only. I'm fine if you want to release a cinematic trailer alongside a gameplay reveal trailer because you think you have a great cutscene.
Right.
We're past the days where you're like, whoa, those cinematic graphics are great. This must be like a AAA.
Right.
Like, cinematics tell me nothing. Like,
Diablo 2 cinematics
nothing.
come to mind. It was just like claymation back in the day, but now everyone's like, are they going to remaster the cinematics? It's like, bro, nobody's playing Diablo 2 for the remastered cinematics.
Oh, I know. I feel so bad for the people who remastered the cinematics for Diablo 2 because let me tell you what it looks like when those famous cutscenes start playing. Like, I'm mashing the escape key. Guys, I'm in this to get gold and level up and max my talents. Like, come on, but yeah, it's wow.
So Jacqueline says nope to not enjoying or not getting entertainment value out of E3. And Christian says, I saw a lot of E3, my first one, so don't know what to expect. Got excited for a few of the games. Enjoyed what people are doing in the space like Verizon. I guess... I mean, the point, look, we have a discussion on this on the podcast, so I don't want to ruin too much, but I'm a big fan of conferences like PAX, for example, right? Because to me, it's so much more hands-on. It's only a live event. There's a combination of business and getting to play the games or buy the hardware. It's like a good mix. E3, Summer Game Fest, all these things to me feel like just blatant game advertising. And then I go, well, instead of spending money on this on E3, why don't developers just pay more streamers to push their game, right? Like to play their game, which is a far more effective.
And I think that's
tool.
what Jeff Keighley did first. You know what I mean? He attached his personality to this award show and to this, trailer phenomenon so that you think, okay, I'm going to watch this with Jeff Keighley hosting it. That's what you expect. And that's become a brand now. And so I think E3 totally losing its relevance in that regard. And I completely agree. Yeah, XQC, these other huge streamers that people want to see their reactions to live, that's going to be the way to view these things moving forward. 100%.
Jeff, did you watch any of it and feel excited about some of the games? Like, or just from a business standpoint, do you feel like there were opportunities? Because E3, up until 5 years ago, was very much like a industry event, right? It was game developers and people who sold to game developers one
of the most important moments in gaming. Yeah.
Like
there's
we're in the
ecosystem.
ecosystem.
Investor scene. Like when I went 2 years ago as an analyst, I mean, you have meetings with every, you met with, small group meetings with like Strauss Zelnick, Bobby, like all the, CEOs, CFOs of the businesses, which is important. And then obviously that's kind of a sideshow, off the main stage. And then clearly you have, it used to be like an industry event, like you said, where retailers would come and figure out, hey, what game should I buy? That business model obviously literally doesn't exist anymore, basically. But in terms of the show, I mean, I think you guys summed it up. It was definitely there wasn't too much to write home about. I mean, I think Microsoft did a decent job highlighting, what they have coming and sort of getting people excited about all these things coming to Game Pass. We've sort of covered that topic many, many times, how great of a value proposition that is. So I think if anyone did well, maybe it was them. But in terms of third-party publishers, there really wasn't much of anything, I thought, to write home about.
Sorry, Lindsay, go ahead.
I just thought that some of the more technical issues were, I don't know if surprising is the right word. And as someone who's had to throw a large online event in the past year, I understand how difficult it is to coordinate all of that. But we're also talking about one of the most technologically driven industries. And there, you know, there's been plenty of summits to model afterwards thus far, and plenty of things to improve upon, and like not having moderation in the chat just seems like something
That was
really,
the best part for me, to be
really
honest.
basic. Yeah.
Like
Or-
all the resident sleeper emotes and the, you know,
like, you know, it's like I said, as someone who had to run one of these online events, I tried very hard not to judge. But when you do something like you make a portal and you're supposed to create a character and there's very limited character, there were so many things where it's like, you know, you guys had like 2 years to figure this out, basically. Like, what?
But like
What'd you do?
in gaming, you can't take away the chat interaction. Like gamers wouldn't stand for it. It would be,
No.
you'd have riots in the streets, right?
So I think there's like an in between, right? Like find the moderators that know the community. There's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Twitch users that can be moderators, that have probably moderating experience, where they can walk that line. What's an acceptable meme and what is blatant racism and xenophobia? You know, like just you find that balance. You guys are E3, like Lindsay's saying, you guys been doing this year after year. Like there's no excuse. Like there's really not.
Your advantage should be to know your audience at this point.
Right.
I just read about how AOC and Ilhan Omar, two extremely polarizing figures, managed their stream with 450,000 people and had a non-toxic chat. It's like, if they were able to do it, like E3 should have been able to do it.
I just want to end on this one thing, guys, before we move on to some news here. But there's a question to me. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question, but I want you guys to answer. When we talk about marketing in gaming and esports, what is the word that gets thrown around all the time?
The A word.
The A word, right? Authenticity, right? It's like, this is, and I'm guilty of this. Like I taught esports marketing. Like it was a whole like week of lessons on authenticity, right? I just felt like I'll call this the Venn effect. It's you try and be so authentic that it's no longer authentic, right? Like you fall off the scale and
it's like the Flintstones. You end up on the other side, and you're like,
where are
we?
Nate shot Venn thing?
Yeah, but Nate Shot took a shot at Venn.
He was not happy.
He was not happy.
What did he say? I didn't catch that.
They aired a video that he said he wanted to review before they aired it, and they just aired it without giving him any heads up or anything at E3. Ouch. In front of the E3
That's
audience.
That's a legal issue too, isn't it? In terms of like distribution and things like that. Like,
I mean, he tweeted that
who knows what was in the contract.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I don't know, but we will forever call this. I will coin this the Venn effect, where it's like you try so hard to be authentic that it's no longer authentic, and it just sort of becomes cringy. William, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, because it's it's recursive essentially. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyways,
Well,
guys,
you can't fake authenticity. I think that's the whole point of the word.
I guess
but you can have too heavy a dose of it.
Yeah, right. Saying too many buzzwords, saying too many of the things that you think are supposed to resonate.
That's the point.
Exactly, right, exactly. It's like you try so hard to be authentic, you end up just ending up at square one.
But it's like
you can't fake it.
It's authentic, right? It's like the first time I hear your story about how you played, Metroid with your brother growing up. It's cute, it's authentic, right? But if you go back to that moment like 6 times in the broadcast, now I'm like, okay, I got it. Like you liked video games as a kid, right? No longer authentic.
But nothing was ever important to me as playing Metroid with my brother.
Yes.
I mean, you nailed it. It's like
I may be a little bit biased. I think Jimmy would have done a far better job with E3. Just my 2 cents. There you
we
go.
all thought, Jimmy. I can still remember coming down at night and the soft blue glow.
Yeah.
The original.
Jimmy's got the voice of an angel. The juxtaposition between Jimmy's voice and William's voice, it's like,
Jimmy, you and I should cast together. We should cast a game, and I'll do my caster voice. I'll be like, they're coming in on the right, moving up from center left. It looks like the LCS is moving strongly. I don't even know.
All right.
The LCS is forging ahead.
Yeah.
Let's keep
William
this
knows
moving,
nothing
guys.
about League of Legends. Stitches.
Christian agrees with you guys, by the way. Chat was terrible at E3, he says. So not the only ones who thought it was a bit toxic, I think would be an understatement. All right, let's start with something serious, guys. Let's start with a bit of serious news, hardcore business news here. Okay. And this is an article that we didn't get to on the podcast, but I think is going to have some good discussion here. This is PUBG maker Krafton raising $5 billion in a public offering. They make PUBG. It's a South Korea-based company. They're going to sell a bunch of shares to raise this money. And the public offering would value Krafton, this is the interesting part here, at $25 billion. Fortnite and Unreal, right, Epic Games, is currently valued at $28 billion based on their last private round. Does anyone think Krafton is worth the same as an Epic Games? Does anyone put these two companies on the same playing field here and should be worth the same?
No, but when Epic goes to go public, I mean, they're going to be worth 75 billion. So, I don't think they are on the same plane. Like, that's not even a joke. Like, I think that's actually probably accurate.
Probably accurate.
But even still, 25. And I tried to find the filing, and because they filed in South Korea, it was really hard to find. And then everything's in like whatever their currency is, which just it was too hard to figure out translating it to dollar. It was like 17 billion like yuan. I'm like, okay, I can't do that. But to me, it seemed it shows the impressive reach of PUBG, right? Like I think the narrative, like the prevailing narrative a little bit is that PUBG kind of went away once Fortnite overtook it. And obviously that didn't happen. Clearly, right. Particularly on mobile. I think PUBG Mobile has carried the day for them. But it's still pretty wild to have a $25 billion valuation with effectively one game. It makes you wonder why like someone like EA is only worth $40 billion in that paradigm when EA has way more franchises, way more robust franchises, and significantly higher earnings. So one of them
is EA worth less than two PUBGs?
No, I don't think so.
Well,
no,
that's an interesting point. Is it PUBG is overvalued or EA is undervalued?
I think here it's a little bit of both.
I also have a question. Is it just PUBG or like does that group, because I know the engine that PUBG is built on is a really popular MMO engine, which lots of MMOs are built on. So I'm not sure if they also own those other games, but does anyone know?
I don't know how much Krafton has. They have other studios, I think, but I'm pretty sure PUBG is by far their biggest. Like PUBG in India last year had 175 million downloads.
Jesus Christ.
Which is like
a billion overall.
Is a massive number. And Krafton was, if you guys remember, Bluehole, right? That's what became Krafton.
Let me make the counterpoint here, though. Like, if you think that winning on mobile is the most important thing here, which you can argue about, but just take that as a premise that having a game that wins on mobile is one of the most important ingredients to a major publisher, at least for a revenue generating publisher today, right? If you take that as a premise, then why isn't PUBG worth more than Epic? Or because Epic's having mobile woes, right? Like they have to sort that out. These guys are crushing it in, big emerging. I mean, I'm not saying this is like a airtight argument. I don't really believe, but there is a world where you can look at this as an investor and say, if you believe certain things, a parity valuation here isn't crazy. And by the way, Jeff, I kind of take a little bit, I get your point that Epic's going to go public twice as big, so whatever, but these guys will go public twice as big, like at some point. You know what I mean? Like if you're raising $5 billion in a private round now, they're probably,
public. This is
they're going public at this price?
Yes.
Oh, it's a bad point. Then never mind. Leave me alone.
No. Sorry, I wasn't trying to dunk on you. That was just...
No. That's good. It's a bad point. Okay.
So hold on. Let me put this in some context, guys, because the argument you're making, I think, is a solid one, right? Which is around mobile, and I was expecting you all to make that argument. Okay. So I have this other story here, which is also from India, interestingly enough, which is PUBG's by far biggest market. Okay. And the headline here is 37% of mobile gamers want to shift to PC. And this is from a survey done in India and that HP did. Okay. And about 1 in 3 PC users prefer gaming features on the PC. So it says a new study by HP reveals that 37% of mobile gamers want to shift to a PC. And as per the HP India Gaming Landscape Report, 89% of respondents believe that a PC offers a better gaming experience than a smartphone. 4 in 10 also indicated that they would migrate to PCs for better gaming experiences. If you're buying Crafton on the premise that mobile is the future, mobile in India is the dominant form of entertainment and the way to game, does this report scare you at all? Does it change your thesis at all?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive, right? You're going to have mobile gamers that are going to game on PC when they're home, and they're mobile when they're out in the street or at their friend's house. I just think that's positive for the overall gaming market in India, especially the PC market, right? You're going to have these mobile gamers that are going to continue to game on mobile, and then they're also going to play on PC. I just read that with optimism and like, yeah, that's great.
Definitely.
Bring them over to the dark side.
The only reason why I might disagree a little bit is just with a shooter game. Like, you would think that kind of style of play, people probably aren't playing it as much on the go, where like I think they are doing the experience of sitting there and playing it like they would a PC. So I think, Paul,
PUBG's already
this is a
disproven
classic
that.
Profit is right segment, because I know this has been Paul's thesis about mobile. So he's finally found some data that seems to validate him. He had
Weird
to go
how
all
that
the way
works
to India,
out.
had to find some random study in India to finally be proven correct.
Yeah.
But, congrats
I think-
on that, Paul.
I think there's something to it, right? In terms of like accessibility, you look at India, like I think like a lot of these gamers were skewing younger, and as they grow up, they'll purchase these PC things, and I think that's how the progression will continue to look across the world, like younger gamers into mobile, into PC gamers.
Does nobody think, and this is kind of a stupid question, but like I'm gonna ask it anyway, just because why not? It's the live stream, I can ask stupid questions. Like, does nobody think that at some point the division here goes away altogether? Like, remember when you just couldn't game on laptops because laptops were junk, and you absolutely had to have a premium desktop PC to get that? And now, like, you can, like, yeah, you'll get a cheaper thing on a PC and the top end components will be faster, but like you can game on a laptop no problem today. Does anyone think we get to a point where like the distinction between, because consoles are a little bit different. Consoles are publisher created ecosystems around exclusivity and control. But like, do you think we ever get to a point where there just is no difference between gaming on mobile and PC? Like, they're just the same. It's just like
Using a controller, I thought the big problem.
you'll plug in all the other stuff. Just like if I'm going to game on my laptop, I'm going to plug in a headset and maybe a mechanical keyboard, and I'm certainly using an external mouse and not like, you'll plug in all the other stuff, right? Like, and you probably even plug your phone in, but like, I kind of wonder if we don't overstate the divide today a little bit. I know it's a long time before mobile catches up all the way, but I think we're getting to that world, right?
Right. I mean, they're already using like most elite mobile players are using their phones as computers, basically, right? That's the only purpose they serve. Like, they're plugging in the dongles for the mouse and the keyboard and the external displays and everything anyway. So I think, in a couple of years, it will just be a mobile PC that you then plug into wherever
and then plenty of mobile games can be played on PC now. Like
emulators
mobile
and things.
shooters and stuff also have a PC. So just like,
my only thought on that is like, then is it just like is it sort of just two sides of the same coin, where it's like if you're literally using your phone as if you're plugging in all of these things, it's not like, is that even quote unquote mobile gaming at that point? Or is it just, that's the processor that you're using? Like, it's not
that's
portable,
exactly, and I think that's exactly the point
it's
he's
not
making.
touch
Like,
screen, like what do we, it's just a tiny little computer.
Right,
I thought you guys were going in a totally
don't
different direction with this. Because to me, this confirms, this makes me somewhat more at ease, because I'm worried about a future where everyone just wants to play on mobile, right? When I have nightmares, that's what I have nightmares about, right? But this seems to confirm that mobile, and what I always suspected is that mobile's just kind of a gateway drug. And eventually people want to move more up market.
It's more than that, because I think these titles you can play mobily, right? And so like, it's not quite, it's like, it's nice. Like, imagine let me give you an example, Paul, right? Imagine if you're doing raiding in WoW and you're stuck on a long train, you're stuck on a long, I don't know, like car ride or something, or train ride or something. And like, imagine if you could play kind of bad WoW on your phone. You're still advancing your character. You know, it's not as good, right? You know, you can't, you know, the full keyboard to chat, you know, you're like, sorry guys, I'm on mobile, but like, it's still WoW and you can still play it, but you know, when you go home, you'll get the real experience. Like, I think there is an advantage. I think mobile's a little bit different and it's truly everywhere portable, which adds a lot of value, right? Like, I just can't tell you how much I love my Switch, because I literally like can take it, like even in my house, dude, like I'll play it in bed, I'll play it in the basement. Like, it's just super useful.
Even games that are designed primarily for a PC, I find myself playing more on the Switch if it's available. Like Diablo 2 Resurrected, I've played that on the PC exclusively, but when it comes out on the Switch, I'm gonna play the heck out of it on the Switch.
Hardcore Switch, and it's just, there's something to be said for, like, I think consumers are willing to take less good gaming experience for more convenient form factor. And what mobile does, at least in the mobile gaming we're talking about, is it lets you offer the whole spectrum. If you want to kind of have some sloppy play from your bed, go for it. If you want to be nailing it, head to your desk and plug in all your peripherals and go, you know, like, but I like that the game fits all those use cases. And I think it is a bit bigger than we realize, just because of how the Switch has overtaken my gaming. And it's easily the least hardcore gamery thing I own, you know?
William, you asked me a question. Your point's an excellent one. I'm the wrong person to ask is all, right? Like, I don't even like writing an email from my phone. I actually don't. Like, I just, because I think it's a suboptimal experience, I wait till I'm back at my desk, keyboard, big screen, you know, like, and so I definitely even wouldn't play like bad WoW. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I dispute that. Sorry, just like, you're telling me you wouldn't log in and do some auction housing from your phone in bed? Okay,
it's just
right.
like, for me, it's the escape, right? Like, it's not like I need 10 minutes of distraction here. For me, gaming is the experience. I sit down. I've carved out a couple of hours. I don't have to think about anything else. Like, to me, the snackable stuff doesn't do anything for me.
See,
that's just me. I'm not extrapolating that to some broader market trend. I know that's just me.
See, I'm totally okay with, and I'll give you a great example of this. The external content around games is a lot of times me snacking a game. You know what I mean? And like, I wish there was a snack. Like, for example, like, I mean, when I was playing Bloodborne, I wish I could have played on my mobile device and just farm some blood echoes. Like, I get that I'm not going to go after the hardest boss, you know, but I'll run Yarnum and, you know, get enough to get another, you know, strength point or whatever, you know, like I think there's more value than we realize. And the Switch, I really just urge you guys, if you're not gaming a lot on the Switch, it's scary how much it takes over your gaming because of how convenient it is. So
I think to further validate William's point, just with my own anecdote, and I had an ex that said this about me. She go, "Oh, he's playing video games when he's not playing video games." Because when I'm sitting in front of my Xbox, when I used to be a console gamer, if something was loading or downloading, I would just whip out my mobile and start playing while I'm waiting for like this cutscene or something I didn't care about. And, yeah, so maybe I had a problem. I don't know, but again, the mobile experience for something snackable in between other gaming experiences certainly was the case for me. That's how I use it, at least.
Guys, let's talk about sort of the final form here of gaming, as Stadia would like to believe. But it's not a Stadia story. It's actually, there's two stories, and I'll tie them together here. It's a Microsoft story and it's an Amazon story. And this announcement I thought was interesting, that Amazon's game streaming service Luna is opening access to all Prime members starting June 21st and June 22nd, which is Amazon Prime Days. And the other article, which I will tie this to, is Microsoft developing new hardware to bring Game Pass and cloud gaming to TVs. So basically a dongle, you'll plug in your TV. Sounds a lot like Google Stadia. And so, two sort of cloud gaming pieces of news. For me, unfortunately, I'm just a bit sad that people are still pursuing cloud gaming, not having learned their lesson from Stadia. But is anyone bullish on either of these? Is anyone surprised by the Amazon announcement? How soon it's coming? I think that surprised me. Just curious to get your thoughts on these two stories.
Do we know what games are on the Amazon with Amazon?
We saw it in the screenshot, Jeff.
Yeah, so it's going to be free to try for 7 days, okay, for Prime subscribers. It's going to be available on Windows, Mac, Fire TV, and iPhone, iPad, and select Android phones, whatever that means. The pricing's $6 a month for access to games including Control, which, by the way, was free on the Epic Game Store just last week. Or
It was also an
this
anchor
weekend.
launch title for the Epic Game Store, is what got me to install it.
Grid and Metro Exodus. And once you've got a Luna account, so once you're paying the $6 a month, you can pay $14.99 extra to get the Ubisoft Plus channel, which gives you access to Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Watch Dogs.
This sounds like a dystopia I don't want to live in anymore. Like,
And the controller's being discounted, just FYI.
I mean, it's smart of them. It's smart of them, I think, to tie this with Prime. I mean, we would kind of, that makes sense. We would have thought that initially, but the fact that they're tying this trial or this alpha period with Prime, I think, is a smart move. Although everyone has Prime, so I guess it's basically just open to everyone. But this is going to be a non-event because Google Stadia proved the technology for this exists. It works. It just nobody cares unless you have exclusive content. Like it just doesn't matter. Nobody
Is that what
cares.
Stadia proved?
I don't know that it
I mean, the
proved
technology
that.
worked.
sorta.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Like I think launching with a game like
Asterisk.
Grid is kind of concerning because Grid's a racing game. It's a dirt rally game. Dirt rally is very twitch and very reactive. One wrong move, you're off the track. 2 milliseconds is everything. This is probably the worst title you could have chosen to demonstrate server-based gaming. So like, have fun with that.
Yeah,
Like-
but see, I think this sounds way more appealing than I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah. Seriously, can I defend this? Like,
Yeah,
seriously?
defend it, William. I like this.
All right, here's my defense because this is actually not me being facetious. I genuinely think this sounds a lot better than I thought. Okay, first of all, one, tying to Prime. I never thought they'd do it, but they did it, and that's super smart because, like, I'm just telling you, you are going to get a ton of people activating this because it's a free game in Prime. And, you guys just be like, oh, it's easy. It's in my Prime account already. Let's do it. Let's try it out. So I think you're going to get a relatively high early adoption just because probably a bunch of people with Prime haven't played some of these games. That's the first thing, right? Second thing is the price point's great. $6. Like, I like that price point. I guarantee you they tried to hit $5 and couldn't. I'm telling you right now, it was supposed to be a $5 launch price and they just couldn't quite get the economics to work, but whatever. $6 launch price is cheap enough that it's below even the baseline movie and TV subscription services. It's probably something you could just fold in and forget about, right? And, I go back to like, who is this service really for? I think what Stadia showed us is this is not a service for gamers, right? This is a service for liminal people who are like, maybe on mobile, maybe curious, right? Who want to get into gaming with an upgrade, who want to get into gaming in a light, easy, low cost way. That's really the market here. And are these bad titles for that general audience? Control's a fun narrative driven Twin Peaks style game. I imagine an off-road racing game has big sort of non-core gamer appeal, like I could see these titles. Like, these aren't great. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, these games are old, This is not like
No, but I totally
Old
get
and
your point.
free in other places. Just
yeah,
to be
old
clear.
and free in other places, but it's like a simple starter proposition for somebody who is already starting to use Amazon for other types of media, like video purchase and stuff. Like, I could see this. This has a more defensible niche than Stadia, which was trying to be like, I don't know who Stadia was for with $60 games. And, this is like, at least this is like, if you already have a Prime account and you're curious about games, here are some pretty good games for $6. Like, that seems pretty good to me. It's not going to be the future of gaming, but it seems a pretty good start. I thought this was dead on arrival.
It's good for parents too, right? Ones that want to provide their kids with a lot of different distractions. Like for me, the best part of that was, who's this for, right? Because I'm looking at these titles. It's not for me. I'm looking at what I want to play here, the upsell for Ubisoft. The amount of time it's going to take me to beat Valhalla, it's cheaper to buy the game because it's going to take me a few months, right? And that $15 upcharge, which I imagine is on top of the $6, I can't quite tell. Yeah. So I'm just going to wait till the game goes on sale. But I agree with that. Like I think that this is for it reminds me of how Prime was also provided Twitch subs for free, right? You used to get one free sub for all Prime holders.
You still do.
You still do. And these kids would use their parents' Prime subscription or their Prime subscriptions and then throw that sub to their favorite streamer. I thought that packaging was clever as well. And then you see it here with Luna. I think it's for parents and I think it's for kids, honestly.
Not
Yeah.
for parents, maybe. with
Well, for
Game
parents
Boy
to give to
Control,
their
but
kids,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, sorry.
But it feels better. Like, I mean, obviously, you know what? And I guarantee you, if all of this offering was the same with one twist, right? One twist. Amazon had an exclusive game that they had developed through their studio. I forgot what their studio was called or if it's even still around, but whatever, right? They had an exclusive game that anchored this. And it was a relatively hype. It wouldn't have to be a good hyped game, which have to be a relatively hyped
They were
game.
supposed to have a couple
That's a big
exclusives.
caveat, though,
And they
right?
shut
One
down
them,
both of
that's
them.
like a
Yeah,
$150 million like massive mega hit. That's a big caveat. But I agree.
A big caveat, but then this might start to look like a Steam because we'd all try it just to play the game, and then who knows where it goes. So I know it's a massive caveat, but like for Amazon strategically, I bet they had thought about marrying those things at some point, which was a story of how this got here. And also, Amazon has the money. If this works as a first step, they can just go buy or license something to get that anchor. I really do believe that, right? Like, if this is I think what you're seeing is a first strong but still relatively lukewarm foray for them. And if the metrics here come back with anything like positive, the next thing you're going to read is Amazon Inc.'s 3-year exclusive deal with, Respawn Interactive for, future Apex world expansion, something
And they
like
bought
that.
Todd Howard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Todd Howard gets Amazon.
Are you more bullish on this or Epic Game Store? I know they're not exactly the same, but similar strategy, right?
More
What you just discussed.
bullish on this. More bullish on this.
Just because it's Amazon, or why?
Just because like I think Epic Game Store is in a challenge where it's always going to be second fiddle for Steam, and I don't see it doing enough to displace the anchor. So I'm not saying it can't be a successful alternative marketplace, and but like this actually has a potential to be a different distribution model for games. This could really bring games to the 40+ demo that is curious about the medium and didn't have an easy accessible way, and now it's the same place you buy your groceries, right? Like telling you can get a game. So like this has more of a game-changing perspective to me. I think if I want to know which one is more likely to succeed, it's the Epic Store, but which one has more potential to be an Epic, like which one would I prefer to be betting on? I'd bet on Amazon because it could be a sea change for the industry, and it's a good sea change. It's one around inclusivity, right? Like the Epic Game Store isn't going to convert somebody who's non-gamer into a gamer. It's just going to convince a gamer to buy somewhere else. This might actually turn people who aren't gamers into gamers. Sorry,
Yeah, I know that you all are tired of me talking about broadband, which is lucky because I actually just published an op-ed about how bad broadband is holding back cloud gaming. And I don't think that the service is going to be successful unless broadband gets better. I don't see how any cloud service could be successful until broadband gets better. A lot of us are in cities where there's multiple providers. There's a lot of speed options. There's plenty of towers around you to make that signal strong and consistent. But the majority of Americans are not in similar situations. And I am extremely surprised, and I continue to be surprised, that gaming companies don't take a more active interest in improving broadband. Because not only cloud gaming is the first in a series of really big technological advances, and you talk about AR and VR, all of that is going to require better connections that we don't have. There's a lot of potential technologies on the horizon that could solve this, but nothing has been standout so far. Nothing has captured and given people the connection that they need to pursue even regular activities. I know you all saw the articles during the pandemic about drop Zoom calls. I know
love the
you
FCC,
had
man.
Yeah, I know you got the unstable connection warnings. Like, I just think that these services are putting the cart before the horse.
The technology problems haven't been solved. Like even beyond the broadband issue, there are other technology problems that haven't been solved. But I think regardless of the technology problems, you guys are focused on the wrong things and are wrong on Amazon on this one. Like, to me, this is a huge miss for Amazon. It's also quintessentially very unlike Amazon's strategy in most other markets. Fundamentally, Amazon in my mind, had a huge opportunity here to really make an impact on gaming. And all they had to do, because for me, the Stadia's failure was not just technology. Yes, technology was a big problem. Stadia's failure was, and Jimmy brought this up, it's who's the audience, but I will expand on Jimmy's thought and say, what is the business model that you're using to target that audience, right? And the match or mismatch between those two things, to me, is why Stadia failed, because those two things just didn't make sense together, right? You have a hyper casual targeted service, but a business model that's so complex, even a hardcore gamer can't figure it out. The games are only for hardcore gamers. Like, there was this mismatch between product and business model and the audience. And Amazon has made the same mistake here. Same mistake. And let me give you what I think Amazon should have done here, because I think they had an opportunity for a home run. Amazon makes a ton of money on Prime subscriptions. Huge, right? It's massively profitable. And if they had used gaming as a way to push more Prime subscriptions, to me, this is where you win. And what I would have done if I was Amazon is given away the game Luna for free, because $6 a month is nothing, right? Give the gaming service away for free with Prime. You juice your Prime subscriptions, because guaranteed people see more value. You will get more signups, and that's $100 or $120 a year, subscription, as opposed to $6 a month. It costs you basically nothing to add this service on top. And now you've really opened it up to a potentially huge audience, because who's not going to sign up for free, right? Who's not going to take the freebie? And so you have a much bigger impact. And being Amazon, you have the ability to monetize this, not just through Prime subscriptions, but through selling, like through e-commerce, through advertising, through a bunch of other ways that your competitors just don't have. And to me, that's the Amazon business model, right? When they wanted to get into the diaper business, they bought a zillion diapers, they priced them lower than the competition, and they put everyone else out of business. Like, why not do the same with cloud gaming when you have so many other ways to monetize this service?
So the
The
analogy.
one problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, William, go ahead.
So the analogy there is like they should go buy a studio, give the games away for free, and turn everything into a Prime. No,
to me, this is not about exclusivity at all. This is about the product, the business model, and the audience. We all agree cloud gaming is a more casual audience, so make this a free service with Prime and figure out other ways to monetize this,
I just
including
don't get
Prime.
how you could justify giving it away. Like, they already have. I think you would have to charge something on top of Prime or increase the price of Prime. Prime already has 200 million plus subscribers. Like, you're not going to get more people subscribing to Prime because of this. There's just I just think the audience is.
You think the
fairly
audience
saturated.
for Prime is totally saturated? There's no growth to be had
but
there?
I think as people mature, they get Prime. But I don't think there are that many people out there that are like, man, I can't afford Prime. I don't want Prime. Oh, they
Jeff,
added a video
okay,
game console
I
to
get
it,
it.
so
Let
I'm
me
gonna get
ask you a
Prime.
question
the
then.
controls
Hold on.
great. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You're a Prime customer, right? What do you think people are more likely to say yes to? Okay. Hey, Jeff, you pay $120 a year for Prime. Come sign up for my gaming subscription at $6 a month. Okay. Sales pitch number one. Versus, hey, Jeff, you pay $120 for Prime, right? We're going to raise it to $130 because we're providing so much value. Do you even blink at that one?
No.
And
So you're saying they would raise the price?
But
same thing. Then.
But
without
$10
charging specifically
a
for
$10 upcharge across a
Right.
200 million person base, right, is way more growth than $6 a month, and maybe you get 100,000, a million
you're saying,
people to sign up.
Sneakily upcharge for it and not necessarily say this is for this.
Of course.
But over time, you basically get that value.
It's what
Yeah,
every
I think
subscription service
that
does.
Makes sense. That
right?
makes sense. Problem is, you'd be, the risk is you are giving away a lot in the hope that you can extract more in the future, where you don't necessarily the cost of giving this away is fairly high, right? Like, cloud gaming is really expensive.
Not for Amazon. You have
right
the
because they
servers.
own the web servers.
like-
And they're not making exclusive games.
Still
So
expensive.
I see Paul's point, but I think William makes a good point in that I think it's valuable in the sense that it's a gateway drug, and it'll get the people hopefully to spend more time on the platform of Twitch overall as well. But I don't know if that's the main thing that they're going for. I think that'll be a byproduct.
Mark my words, Luna doesn't hit even 1 million subscribers. Doesn't even come close. This goes the way of Stadia
100%.
because of the mismatch between the audience and the business model. Did Stadia even hit 100,000? Probably not.
I'm not even sure if they did it your way, Paul. If it would have been better, but I'm still not sure it would have hit 1 million subscribers because
maybe, but it
what
would
is
have
the value
squeezed
proposition? I just
Microsoft.
don't-
It would have squeezed your competitors a little bit. Your presence now, you have an impact,
yeah.
right?
I still just
Like,
don't get what the value proposition is.
I still think the easiest way to do this whole thing, rather than this convoluted back channel, is just make your own games, you know, or like buy it. I mean, I hate to say it, but like we're all kind of retrofitting for this problem. Like when Amazon wanted to go into grocery, right? They weren't just like, you know, they like, what did they do? They recognized, geez, we should probably buy a grocery store, you know, because it's tough to go into grocery without owning a grocery business, right? Like,
I mean, I think it's a natural progression now, right, for them.
Yeah, and a lot of what they've done is like white label. Like, I just think like it's very strange, and why we're in this position is because I think this should have been paired with some sort of, and I think everything changes when it's paired with a content play, and I think it's an unusual miss for Amazon, particularly after their internal dev maybe doesn't do what they want, to then shy away from a content acquisition, because they don't seem to be shy to buy things when they think a space is important. Like if you think of how they've entered pretty much every market from shoes to food, they bought people, you know?
I mean, that's exactly what Microsoft did when they brought out Xbox.
That's exactly right.
Marry content with distribution.
Yeah.
Sort of,
and it's just, I think
times.
launching a cloud gaming service is the same as launching a console in a lot of ways. And so I think if you have a formula that works for console, and you're surprised when like you're building a Neo Geo right now. I mean, building, you know, less than, I don't know. I'll be quiet. Neo Geo is a good system. But
I want to read this. William, Christian loves your commentary on Amazon. Christian says also agree with Paul's point that Christian, you can't agree with both of us. Agree with Paul's point that Amazon's business model is pointed to the Prime subscription. Why not include it for free and then jack up Prime price across the board by $1 or $2 next year? Agreed, Christian. That was what Amazon should have done. Before guys we move on, I just quick word. This live stream, the Business of Esports live stream, is supported by YouGov, guys. They're a leading international research firm. They supply the best data on gamers, games, esports fans around the world. Please show them some love because they are big supporters of ours. Go check out yougov.com/gaming-esports. I'll put the link here in the chat. There's a bunch of free esports and gaming reports. I will say we do have an interesting piece of very relevant research from YouGov this week. It's short, but I do think it'll make for a very interesting discussion. Let me pull it up here. And it's related to E3, interestingly enough, where they did a survey talking about, I don't know why I can't find it here, talking about the most anticipated games of E3. Hang on. I have it here. I know I opened it.
Can we guess before?
Yes.
What the most anticipated?
Yes. Okay, I did have it here.
I don't want to go first.
Most anticipated games of E3.
Oh, no cheating. You guys
Halo
can see
Infinite.
Breath of the Wild 2, whatever it's going to be called.
So basically, they asked. Let me just read the question that they asked. The E3 is happening virtually this year. Several major gaming titles are expected to be announced at the showcase. Which, if any, of the following potential E3 game announcements are you excited about? And they let people select all that apply, so they could choose multiple. Okay. Is there consensus on number one here?
Halo Infinite.
I'm going to go for Metroid something or another.
No.
I want to hear everyone's choice for number one.
BO-Dub 2.
Lindsay, you said Breath of the Wild. Jeff said Halo Infinite. William said Breath of the Wild. Jimmy?
I'll say the old school Metro that they made. Oh, sorry. Wrong Jimmy.
Jimmy B.
Thick boy, you mean? Yeah. I'm with Breath of the Wild as well.
Jimmy M.
I go old school Metro just because why not?
Interesting. Okay, I'll put it up here. I hope you guys, it's big enough to see. Breath of the Wild 2. By a mile. Interestingly enough, which I'm always amazed at the power of Nintendo. Like I think I'm surprised every time, and William would probably not be surprised, but I'm always surprised. I feel like just Nintendo's not as much on my radar, so I guess I'm surprised when I see these things. But what's interesting is if you look at just console or PC gamers, right? It's far and away the most anticipated title. Does anyone think in a new console cycle where we just got a new Xbox and a new PlayStation that a Nintendo Switch game is literally the most anticipated game of E3? Like, is there something we can conclude from that in terms of this current console cycle?
I have something to conclude. Maybe it's that if you build a brand and really focus on fleshing out the feeling of discovery, and instead of focusing on just graphical quality, maybe you have something year after year that attracts that player that knows, like, I'm going to pick up a Zelda game, I'm going to be able to explore. Whereas in Battlefield, you come to the game, you're like, it's going to be a shooter game that gets graphically better year after year. It's not that exciting for me personally.
Is anyone shocked that, because a lot of the discussion, even on the podcast, and I think it's the first name you guys threw out when we talked about E3 at the top of the show, Elden Ring, right? Elden Ring, the trailer, Elden Ring. Is anyone surprised this is dead last on this list?
I'm a little surprised Starfield isn't higher. I mean, a new IP from Bethesda for the first time in 25 years.
Keep in mind, Bethesda's in a bit of the, like, they haven't, the last Fallout was not exactly a home run, so there may be some bad feelings there. I don't know.
But it's also like, if you look at this, it's basically a brand rank ordered index, right? Like if you literally look at it, it's like, what are the biggest brands on this list?
Right.
Halo, Battlefield, God of War, Zelda, they're all at the top, right? I also think it's fair to say, and this might be incredibly biased, but I think it's also fair to say quality still matters a lot in our industry. Like, some of the best games of the last 5 years have been Breath of the Wild and the new God of War. Like, I'm like, literally, like, I'm just not surprised to see consumers are excited to see those, because they were literally some of the best games to come out, So I think it's saying about quality. The one that surprises me here, or the two that surprise me here, I will say, are Battlefield 2042 and Dying Light.
Yeah.
Because they're too high or too low?
Because those are both IPs that I didn't associate as having, like when was the last time a Battlefield game was a hit?
Especially Dying Light.
Whoa.
What? The one before
Them's be fighting words.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
I mean, Battlefield 5 was good, but like Dying Light, who even played the first Dying Light?
Yeah, like I mean, I'm sorry, but like Battlefield to me is, and I'm not criticizing, I know the Battlefield games are good, dude. I've played Battlefield, they're awesome. But like, I'm not critiquing the quality of the game, but like, I thought the general consumer consensus for Battlefield was that it was like, it was kind of like Call of Duty second place. And I'm sorry that's harsh, but like, it's perceived as the alternative shooter brand to Call of Duty. And I'm surprised to see it getting that much interest. And then the other one, Dying Light, is like, exactly, like, I know what Dying Light is, but who's heard of Dying Light? Like,
and it's like, I like zombies. I like parkour. It's parkour zombie game, and I still wasn't that interested into it.
Like, I kind of thought the original Dying Light was a cult hit. I didn't realize it was mainstream enough to get into this rank. Like, I get why Elden Ring is where it is, because it's an extremely specialized game. People who are into the genre like me are going to be pumped. But the game is called Elden Ring. I mean, come on. Like, you're not setting yourself up for mainstream success.
Wasn't the way the server, not to be, I think this is usually Lindsay's job to critique the survey design, but wasn't it set up so they listed them all and then you just pick? So it's like it inevitably would have been on the list because it was on the survey's list. So but what was the number? Like 5%? Like Dying Light had like 8% of people.
But I guess even the fact that it was above like Elden Ring, like
that's not very high.
Right.
The survey is good because you see relative. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's not about the absolute number. It's about the relative number. Yeah. I'm totally in disagreement on Battlefield. It's never been just second rung to Call of Duty. it's always been the better game. I think Battlefield 5 suffered from really bad marketing, like
True.
really horrific marketing.
Really, Paul, does the sales data show it's always been the better game?
Keep in mind, Battlefield was never a console game. So for the console kiddies, they play a lot of COD, but Battlefield was always PC first.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Battlefield, I always thought was the vision that appealed to me more. Like I loved the higher scope. I loved the better integration of vehicles. Like I'm not
Especially early days, it was not second fiddle to Call of Duty at all.
Early days is very, but yeah, totally different, right? But I think,
but
like,
to that
But
point,
early
the brand
days,
has
Duke
always
Nukem
had
would have been in this
cachet.
list, Paul. Like Duke Nukem would have been most anticipated new IP of the year.
but Will, I
If they
think
were
like,
announcing a new game, yeah.
yeah, I think 2042 is also prime for success, given how unsuccessful Black Ops Cold War has been this past year. Because Warzone came out, dominated, and it was like, cool, we're in the modern era, we're doing some cool shit. And then Black Ops Cold War comes around, and it just kind of like falls under the rug. No one's even playing it anymore. Like, you know, it's the competitive league, but Warzone's still the game. So I think Battlefield 2042 is not too far into the future where people are like, we're going to be strapped with jetpacks and flying around again, but it's like just enough to be interesting. So I think they're setting themselves up for like a lot of success there.
I agree. There's a nice gap for near future tech stuff. Like,
Can we just look at this list one last time before we move on here? Because here's my takeaway, and I love proving myself correct, that if you look at the top games, right, the ones coming at the top of this list, what I see in common with all of them is big experience, open world, big world. Like we're talking about experiences that feel epic, vast, right? God of War is more open world. Breath of the Wild, definitely open world. Battlefield's all about like now 128 players on the battlefield.
Yeah,
right? The theme here is big and epic still is what people want, right? For all the Candy Crush people are playing, big and epic is still what people want. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into the
Okay,
data.
but
I don't know how you
but
got that from this.
I was gonna.
Super
To be
markets.
fair, Harry Potter is like number
Paul just
6.
pushing
so-
buttons. That's all he does.
But that's the Harry Potter game. That's the Pokemon Go one, or what is that Harry Potter game?
no one knows.
The MMO
Hogwarts
one?
Legacy. I don't know.
Yeah, like,
I
what
just
the-
love that it's just called Hogwarts Legacy, and people were like, "Yes, I am 6
They were like,
most excited
"Oh."
doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is. Who cares? It's
Hogwarts
Who cares?
probably has a really good legacy. Like
Sure
like-
does.
Ramsey says Breath of the Wild. So Ramsey, you guessed correctly. Wade said Metroid didn't even make the top selections, unfortunately. What else is included in all? Just add mobile. I don't think they put any mobile. I don't know what all the selections were, but if I remember reading the article, they did not put mobile games as selections here. They were really looking at console and PC announcements. Wade says, I was surprised Metroid didn't make the list.
Hogwarts Legacy, brother. It's gotta make room somehow.
Is anyone surprised Metroid didn't make the list?
I think was
Come on, it's a side scroller.
Did they
The
know-
only reason
maybe
I'm
they didn't
surprised
know
is
it was
because
coming?
yeah, exactly. They didn't
Yeah,
know it was coming, and it's the first side scroller one in like 19 years or something. And so for that reason alone, I was thinking, okay, maybe Dread will be on the list, but Hogwarts Legacy, my friends. So I think that tells you enough.
I think Metroid wasn't public because this was a pre-survey thing, right? Like I
Yes,
think that was an E3 drop. So probably part of this is like because my whole thesis is you're basically seeing a brand rank order power index, and I think Metroid would have done better. So if it was known, it kind of disproves my thesis. So
Christian says, excited for Halo as MMO competitor. I mean, I think everyone's there's a lot of expectations riding on this Halo. They cannot mess this one up. If this,
this is do or die time.
this is do or die.
Yeah, you already delayed it so much too.
We're in cyberpunk territory with Halo here. Josh says 100% agree with William on Battlefield and Dying Light.
Sorry, Paul.
I mean, as a COD dude, sorry, Paul.
What can I say? I love Call of Duty. Don't get me wrong, but it's not Battlefield.
Do you remember you could jump out of an airplane and then mount in another airplane midair in like Battlefield 2? That was the greatest.
They had that in the trailer for 2042, where you
They had
jump
it
out
in
of the
the
plane,
trailer.
rocket launch, and get back in.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
so good.
See?
There's actually a video out there of the creator of that jump reacting to seeing it for the first time in the trailer, which is great if you want to go consume some additional content.
Guys, I just want to wrap this up. Just again, quick word. go check out YouGov for all this kind of data and reports like this. And I know they had a bunch of stuff around E3. So go take a look at their website, yougov.com/gaming-esports. Show them some love from Business of Esports and from the live stream. All right, guys, let's move on. We have a couple of fun, silly stories, and we maybe have like one more serious one. Do we want to talk about TSM FTX news? Do you guys want to talk about?
Did we not cover that?
Well, this one was interesting, and maybe like I don't even have access to the full article because you actually have to subscribe. This is paywalled. But the headline was good enough for me to drive some discussion here, which is okay. Let's have the discussion. The headline here was Eric Marino joins esports org TSM FTX as VP Apparel. Okay, kind of a simple headline, not much to it. Here's the question I have for you guys: You're TSM. You've just raised $210 million essentially, right? You have 21 million coming in every year, right? Is this telling of esports org monetization that your very first hire is a VP of apparel?
Oh no!
Come on, Lindsay, you saw that one coming from a mile away.
I sure did. Yeah.
Wait, am I missing something? What?
It's a hoodie org.
It's a hoodie org.
It's a hoodie org.
Yeah. How are we monetizing if not through hoodies?
But like, is this not a weird first hire? Come on.
Is it?
I would. Yes,
It's more
I
of a
would want them to
coincidence
have.
hire. I don't think they planned. They're like, oh, we have all this extra money. Let's do what we've been waiting to do and hire this.
They did though. This guy was
sweatshirt.
formerly did apparel for Wu-Tang Clan. Like this guy probably doesn't come cheap.
Though.
That's big.
Wait, that's great though. But all the experience that I read about was Rocksmith. I was like, what is this Rocksmith guy doing with apparel? Wu-Tang apparel. That sounds great. That sounds like the change we need in apparel in esports.
Sounds great. It sounds great.
I don't know. I have high hopes.
We need in
I have high hopes because like there's organizations like UIU who the CEO or like the founder of UIU was a former like Polo Ralph Lauren like creative director, and she makes some sick attire for this team. And they're a smaller organization, but they're not really doing it for the money. They've created this brand in the FGC and really built themselves out as making some really great merchandise and having this sort of austerity to themselves. If TSM can make some really good merch, there's a hole in the market for some decent looking esports merch. There's no teams that make merch I want to wear outside, like
other than the Business of Esports.
We're not an esports team, but
That's
exactly.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I mean, Jimmy, come on. Let me just push back a bit. There's a lot of teams doing like streetwear.
Right, but not well. There's so much garbage in esports. Like all the OWL stuff from last, like NYXL did a fantastic job reaching out to New York-based creators and trying to really nail down collaborations with like Champion and Melody Asani and things like that. Instantly pushed back from Activision Blizzard saying you cannot do that with our brand. And so they signed them up with Fnatic, who do the NFL and all their jerseys and stuff. And you saw the resulting product and how poor quality that was. Like, that was a joke.
No question that this guy is probably, and I don't know him, right? But he's probably the greatest apparel designer the esports world has ever seen, right? Probably, with his background and pedigree and the whole bit, like Wu-Tang Clan. That's cool, right? It's just, this is the first hire after you've just signed a $210 million deal.
Oh, Paul.
Come on. Yeah. Where is their VP of data science, William, at TSM?
I'm sure they've done it, right?
Yeah,
Are you sure they don't have one?
The first hire I would have done personally would have been, I don't know, what's a clever thing I can say? I have nothing clever to add there. But like, I mean, the point is, I agree with whoever said it's coincidental. This was coming along. This happened to be the news.
Yeah.
I agree that it probably you'd like your brand in the news if you're really thinking through the PR strategy. You'd like it to be something else that's your next thing, like a big partnership expansion or something. You'd like it to be like TSM announces 3 new franchises. You know, something that really says like we're
TSM and Wu-Tang apparel collab.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay, but this hold on. This depresses me because, like, I don't want the esports space to be dominated by teams masquerading as fashion brands. And like so far, we don't have a lot of things that aren't that. And I just, they just got this huge injection of cash. Like, let me see. Not that I do, like, whether it's timing or not, like, whatever. That aside, whether they announce this now or 2 years from now or 5 years ago, I would have been disappointed. Like, they just got this. Hold on, let me finish. They just got this huge injection of cash. Like, I just want to see something fun and different. Like, I'm so tired of talking about apparel. Like,
thank you.
Why is this all we have?
Okay, Lindsay, but let me just do a little challenge here. Okay, who here right now is wearing at least one gamer-related piece of apparel? Raise your hand.
I'm literally wearing the UIU shorts right now. Like,
I'm wearing an Overwatch League T-shirt, and I'll tell you why. It's because it was $2. $2.
Whatever. The point I'm making.
Paul's been wearing that every episode, just waiting for it to come up organically. That joke.
Yes, I got it in.
But the point I'm making is because like people actually wear a lot of gaming apparel.
yes.
Like
I'm not denying that. That's not a problem.
Like there's
But
a reason
I think
these guys go after it. It's
right.
just like y'all wear it,
And I think to your point, Lindsay, like I think there is a lot of fun creative stuff to do, but especially in apparel, because if you do it right, you're gonna sell out. FaZe does it right, I think. They have collaborations with like Kappa and things like that, which are good brand collaborations and just shows you the power of the brand because they get swiped by bots every time they release something. 100 Thieves, same thing. And they created this sort of like supreme, like hype beast mentality around it. So if you could do that with TSM, you're golden. The next step is an NFT.
Maybe
Jimmy, didn't you just say that there was no good apparel though?
There isn't. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's UIU comes around. They're this tiny brand. What I'm saying is there's no good apparel, and there are things that are relatively better than each other. But if you look at like fashion, esports is trash. There's so much work to be done, and there's a lot of consumers for it, to William's point. But I totally feel you, Lindsay. I wish they do something exciting, but like for once, I want to wear clothes for an esports team that I like, and I don't feel embarrassed about wearing outside. Like that's my dream.
Yeah. No, I'm not denying the size of the market or anything. It's just like I just get tired of these stories. It's like, give me more. Give me more.
Yeah.
That's all.
The question I have is why. It's not necessarily why hire this person, because to Jimmy's point, I mean, like this is a massive revenue stream, and teams that do it right make a lot of money. Why put out a press release? Like, why is this news? Why not just like wait until you actually have a good piece of fashion apparel and be like, hey, look at this really cool piece of fashion collab we did with Wu-Tang. Like, why why put out a press release hiring a VP of like sweatshirts or whatever we call it, whatever the title was. It's just a weird press release.
So much umbrage.
It's a weird press release, I think, to put out, especially when you're not even a public like who benefits from that release? I don't know.
Eric
Except for the guy. Maybe
he's like, yeah.
FTX has to get their money's worth in PR here. Come on.
I think that's the part that makes me sad, though, is that this is like a newsworthy or like integral part of the strategy. It's like I wish it was just more innovative and different. Like, I don't care. Like, I hope that they do. I hope that there is like a great move forward in gamer fashion. Like, that's not totally on board with that. Totally here for it. I guess I wish it was more just a quiet or less ingrained part of building a company. It's like, oh, how good can we design our clothes? Like, I think that's the disconnect for me.
Wade brings up a great point here about William's awesome book and the SCAR factors. I don't know about you guys, but my favorite SCAR factor is the A for apparel. I love that
one. William was not paying attention.
I wasn't.
It was a good joke.
But did you know what, guys?
Little bit
I heard SCAR factor though, which was. Can you repeat it for me so I can laugh? Tell me.
I was talking about how my favorite SCAR factor is the A
for apparel.
That's a good one.
But we do love this.
Shoes,
we do love this comment from Wade, and I will read it out. Wade says, on my last chapter of the Book of Esports, William, thanks for filling in some gaps for me. Really appreciate the frameworks, especially SCAR. 5-star review coming your way. Guys, for everyone listening, even if you're listening to this not live and you're watching the VOD at some point, if you bought the Book of Esports, go leave a review on Amazon. Tell William how much you loved it. It is an awesome book. Everyone needs, capital N, needs to read it. Josh says, gonna have to sell a lot of $2 shirts to recoup 250 million. Yes,
I might argue
Josh.
you can never recoup it because of the cogs.
Yeah, that's why they got the alcohol licenses, because they're going to be drinking away their worries for the next decade and a half.
I will. It's a good point. I am not exaggerating. They were actually down to $2 is what they were selling Overwatch League shirts
You're
for.
saying they weren't $1.
No. Although at $2, I felt, I'll rep the brand. I'll wear Overwatch League.
Were they $2 plus free shipping? That's
it's
the real
cheaper than buying literally a white T-shirt, like the blank.
They should give the T-shirts away, like make it free to wear. You know, like anyone who wants to wear an Overwatch T-shirt, it's free marketing for them. They should be. This is true. They should just be giving these away. Bing, bing, bing.
Just helicopter dropping them everywhere.
I got a better idea. How about they make the game free to play
for these guys? That's why I should be the VP of apparel.
Yes. Forget Eric, man.
Okay, guys.
All our apparel is free.
let's all talk about. I want to switch to a topic. Clearly, this was very divisive. I didn't mean to throw in something so controversial here. Let's get everyone back on the same page, okay? Something we can all agree on. The Xbox mini fridge, okay? Maybe the most important announcement at E3. I would say probably the best announcement of E3. It's the only thing I got even remotely excited about. And the headline here, the Xbox mini fridge is real. Microsoft will sell gaming's coolest meme, okay? So they did tease it. They announced it. They said they were going to be selling it. There was a little video even of it opening, and you can see space in there for cans. And you know, I think a lot of people got excited about this, at least from what I've read, from what I've seen online. It seems this is universally loved as a great idea. Where are you guys on the Xbox mini fridge? Is this a meme gone too far, or is this just brilliant?
I'm gonna put it right next to my Han Solo frozen in carbonite mini fridge and just have G Fuel on tap.
This is what I love, right?
When are they going to hire
freshman glow in the dark poster to coolest item in my dorm room senior year? Like, where?
Lindsay, what were you going to say?
I was just going to ask when they're going to hire a VP of mini appliances, because then I'll really be interested.
VP of appliances at Microsoft? You could suggest it, Lindsay. I could see you doing that.
I could.
It's dope. I don't know what else to say. Do you know how many people are going to buy this mini fridge?
So cool. Yep.
Everyone who's a gamer, there's massive overlap between gamers and people who own mini fridges.
Oh, like, huge.
It's the market 100%, I would imagine.
Probably 100, yeah.
I literally think the Venn diagram is just a circle.
Just a circle.
But guys, hold on. I wanted to keep a business sort of view on this. What is the right price point for the Xbox mini fridge?
What's the price point for a normal mini fridge?
Definitely
Right,
less
that's
than
what I
that.
was going to say. I don't have a lot of...
Yeah.
Like
Like 150 bucks?
Yeah, probably.
Hold on. You could find probably on Amazon mini fridges for, probably $50 to $100. But
Okay.
these are
Like
mass
Xboxes,
produced
though.
by the zillions. I don't think Microsoft's going to make a zillion of these things. And they're somewhat
500.
custom, right? There's like green lights and all kinds of
150.
This is marketing, so if they're smart, they'll just give it away for free and do some sort of raffle to raffle away the 1,000 of them that they're making.
Oh, you don't think they should make like 100,000 or 1 million of them for everyone to be able to buy one? Like 1 million of them or 2 million of them?
I don't think 1 million people will buy this.
Really?
I totally think 1 million people will
Yeah,
buy
I think
this.
1 million people would buy this too.
Yeah.
I don't even whatever. I was gonna say I don't even think 1 million
Jeff, do
people
you
buy
have a
Xbox,
mini fridge?
but that was a bad Xbox scrap joke. It's obviously not true. 1 million's a lot to sell of a fridge. It's a novelty item. It's a gaff. It's something.
Do you have a mini fridge?
I do. It's not an Xbox though.
But if it could be, would you get it? Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
If it had the
if I
cool
didn't have
lights
one
and
and
it
I
cost
needed
$50
one.
more.
Right, there's no competition in mini fridges.
Sort
There's
of.
just like
I
Frigidaire
don't know
or
if my
like,
wife
that's an
would
AC
agree.
company. I don't know.
It
I
screams
literally-
I'm a gamer, right? And
Yeah.
that's it, the identity thing is like really powerful as a marketing like as a way to get someone to buy something.
Jimmy, it would look so good, like in your background, like the software below. Like,
Paul, I think that's the exact reason why they'd be smart
Right
to give
here.
it away.
You should
Right
just
here.
literally
It creates such
build in
product
the
affinity
wall
for
unit
Xbox,
right
where it's
now.
like if Xbox gives this away, those people that get this in their house are never going to buy a PlayStation. It's like
Jeff,
you're
they
an
did give
Xbox
away
guy
fridges,
now.
though.
Like, that is
That's not true.
100% retention forever.
They gave away fridges already.
They don't
done
need
this.
they don't need the brand affinity. The beauty of this is you have gamer generic brand affinity, and you have Xbox brand affinity. If anything, this is a way to capitalize on the brand affinity you've got to make an extra buck.
Paul, Microsoft doesn't need to make an extra buck selling goddamn fridges, dude. Like, are you crazy?
I think they'll limit it and put the price at like $500.
Microsoft is a
Like,
trillion-dollar company that literally makes like.
Can you see the
$5
shareholders
billion
meeting where they're
a
like,
month in operating profit? You think they're concerned about
let's really
fridges?
focus on what we're really excited about this quarter, the mini fridge unit.
we're gonna revolutionize
Yeah.
the industry.
It shipped 80,000 units at a 16% margin. Like,
You guys lack such vision, because I could see a whole range of home appliances, right? An Xbox toaster, an
Hey, man,
Xbox.
Apple's rumored to get into appliances, right?
Maybe you'll be the VP of small appliances for Xbox.
If this actually was an Xbox,
Who can
and
say?
could replace your console. If your fridge could be your console, I might agree with you. A little
People
more.
are playing Doom on their
Yeah.
Samsung fridges already. I think we're going
close.
there.
We're getting there.
all I'm saying, guys, is I think this is a good idea. I think it's going to sell out. I think you're going to be amazed. And look, 5 years ago or 6 years, probably more than that. Like 8 years ago, we were laughing at gaming chairs. We're all like, who needs a chair for gaming? My chair sits just fine. There's people want to display that they're a gamer, and they want to display that they're a gamer in more ways than we realize. And I think that you see this phenomenon all over the gaming world of the gaming brands are creeping into weird places. And if Louis Vuitton and League of Legends can sell high-end handbags, why can't Xbox sell out mini fridges? Because I had a conversation with my wife. We're going to buy this thing. We were like talking tonight at dinner about where the mini fridge is going to go in our house, because I was insisting it had to go in our house and my wife was threatening to divorce me. And we didn't really resolve it, but we're going to get the mini fridge.
I also think like in gaming right now, there's this kind of zeitgeist where if any sort of physical product is released by any gaming company, it will just become a product of this hype beast culture that we're in right now. And I think, case in point for that sort of thinking is that the Nintendo released the Game & Watch thing for Zelda's 35th anniversary, already sold out, already being scalped at $300+. And that's something that if you mentioned it to people, do you think this Game & Watch replica, like this little tiny thing, is going to completely sell out and go on the resale market for $300? I don't think a lot of people would have expected that off the bat, but
Really? Are they reselling for that? Mine's in a drawer. I gotta get on that.
No, I mean it's pre-orders for a new one that they just announced. It's the 35th anniversary special edition Game & Watch, with a couple of the games loaded onto it. $50 or $100 retail, now retailing for 3x the price. Easy.
You guys are laughing, but I think as of just marketing giveaway, I think they missed the boat on this. Truly. Because as a marketing giveaway, all that's going to happen is you're going to get scalpers on eBay selling this mini fridge for $1,000. That's what's going to happen. If they limit it to a few thousand of them, the only winners are going to be the scalpers. And if anything, you're going to piss off a bunch of gamers. Truly, I think that's what will happen. Whereas, do back of the envelope math. If they can sell 1 million or 2 million of these things at $150 a pop, we're talking about a, $150 to $300 million revenue item. It's not, even for Microsoft, for Xbox,
You really
that's
think they
not.
could sell 2 million of these
Yes.
for $150?
Yes.
I'd pay 200.
That's like what you can buy an Xbox for.
No.
I totally think
An old Xbox,
luxury,
you can't buy an
high-end
Xbox
gaming
One
products,
for
I
that.
think is gamers will pay a lot of money for the shit they like.
Yeah.
I think there's at least 100 million of revenue for Microsoft in the mini fridge. At least.
They also remember when they
don't
gave
think
away
so.
the big fridges? Did we all forget about that?
Yeah,
They had the
we all
big,
wanted
giant
one.
Fridges. Exactly. Now you can have it. That was a huge thing. They did the promo. Now we have mini fridges.
Ramsey thinks it's brilliant, by the way, and I agree. Christian says, another question. How many of these does Microsoft think it will sell? I mean, I don't think any of us know. I don't think any of us are privy to those internal.
Made like 10,000.
If they only make 10,000, that's a stupid move. It's only going to be negative press, and maybe that's
also your
what they
point.
want.
I don't think they can make enough to get to the end consumer. I think regardless, they will run into the scalper and bot issue, and they will have that negative press regardless. But if they ease the problem by creating more, supply, that's another story. But I think that problem will remain.
This is exactly why I think they should do what I said: make a limited number and raffle them away. And then when people sell, you don't get negative press if you say in advance it's a raffle. So it's literally done by chance who gets it, and there will only be this many.
Okay, but all the people who didn't get it.
Who gets mad about that?
If I don't get one,
I would be mad.
Yeah.
I would be upset.
It's a raffle.
Thank you, Sick Boy,
a
for
raffle
representing
works?
the game.
Yeah, I mean, gamers get mad about anything, but it's like it's a raffle. If you say that up front,
Right.
It doesn't make
Microsoft,
it better, though.
I'm so mad at you for not
Jeff, I
building
feel like you
fridges. Like
can
that has
doubt
nothing
that
to do with your
people
business
will
model
buy
or anything at all. Like I'm so angry at you.
But I would get upset
You
because
doubt that people will buy this. People will buy this,
I get
though.
upset that I don't get my sneakers. Like just because it's chance and fair doesn't mean
Yeah.
that it's like okay.
Yeah, what the heck?
That's why I don't like snake drafting in fantasy football. If you do that, I like auction draft because I want what I want and I'm gonna pay to get it.
You're assuming,
agree
Jeff,
with
just
you there,
because the
but I don't
giveaway
know- I don't
is.
know if I see the analogy.
You're assuming just because the giveaway is fair, people will just be fine not getting one.
I think shoes are the
People will
perfect
be mad no matter
analogy.
what Microsoft
Yeah.
does. No matter what, there will be some idiots online that will be mad. Oh, you made enough, but they're 150. Why are they 150? I'm poor. I can't. That's almost as much as a console. That's 2 games. I'm so angry that you're making me pay that. I can buy a fridge at Walmart for $20. Like people will get mad no matter what they do.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think no matter what, they're going to get a lot of bad press for creating a limited amount regardless. But even to your point, Jeff, like sneakers, they create bots to participate in these raffles too. Like they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we've gotten enough mileage from the Microsoft Mini Fridge. And the takeaway is it's awesome. They did the exact right thing, and I'm buying it. And that's
Wade
what
says, Scar, sewing machines, coffee makers, air conditioners, refrigerators. There you go.
That's the new comedians in cars
The
getting
Scar
coffee.
framework from Williams' book.
Or anything, actually. This is good.
Christian says they should do a special line of mini fridges designed after top streamers and have them stream with it in the background. Yeah, custom for all the Xbox streamers. Like, it just makes so much sense. Christian says G Fuel strategy on fridges.
Red Bull.
It's Red Bull, yeah. And even before Red Bull, like a lot of the early energy drinks, because I know because Monster used to do it when we had teams of programmers. Like when I had programmers on my team, the energy drink companies would come into the office, give us the fridge, and assuming we would just drink a bunch of energy, my programmers were going to drink a bunch of energy drink and pay like you were on a subscription basically, but they gave you the fridge for free. Which unfortunately Microsoft doesn't have any drink to sell us, but if they did, that would be a great model. Included in Game Pass. Josh says, any worry that the fridge only sells to people who already own an Xbox versus translating people over to wanting a piece of Xbox merch? I think we all agree that this has just general gamer appeal, even if you're not like a hardcore Xbox fan.
I think William brought up the circle earlier, and that was pretty much.
Yeah. 4X Esports says Xbox mini fridge today, Nintendo leaf blowers tomorrow.
No, it will be Animal Crossing leaf blowers.
Oh my god!
Realistically, though, what do you guys think the next small appliance is? Like maybe a microwave? You think a blender? I thought microwave.
Yeah.
Humidifier.
Oh.
You think gamers are really into their
Gamer
wellness?
humidifier. Oh yeah, bro. They're gonna be like runny nose, can't breathe in the intense moments. Get a humidifier, cleanse those nasal passages.
Yeah, and they'll have some like top streamer basically being like, I get all my kill streaks,
dude. And like humidifiers that are like kind of round and they just put out like you know.
Oh, and they'll go in the background like bright colors.
Yes,
and they can be chroma keys.
Right, just putting out misty air.
I mean, I feel like we're acting as if we like invented licensing deals. Like I feel like gaming IP has been licensed onto crap for years. Like like cereal boxes and toys. Like this is nothing new. I don't
Guys,
know.
I want to end with a fun story here. Okay, that's the last story we're going to do, and it was a kind of a silly story, but interesting data that came out of it. And this was about 2021's best cities for gamers, and basically they ranked U.S. cities. I'm going to take this off the screen because I don't want to give it away. But
Yeah, we have to guess on this one. We gotta guess.
They ranked cities based on a number of criteria. What they called 22 key indicators of gamer friendliness. Okay.
Okay.
And so they looked at things like average internet speed, how many video game stores per capita, the number of esports tournaments that are run in that city, how many colleges have esports programs, how many companies, gaming companies employ people in gaming there. So like they looked at a bunch, 22 key indicators of gamer friendliness, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Number one city on this list. No one's going to guess it, I don't think. But can anyone guess what state it's in?
Kansas City.
No, it's Washington. It's like Spokane, Washington.
Spokane.
No.
It's not Spokane. Pittsburgh.
It's not Austin. It's somewhere in like Chicago or something. Illinois, I bet.
No, it's
Well, I mean,
California.
Christian agrees with you. Jimmy, Midwest.
I think just because of all the like Call of Duty stuff that happens in
Okay.
there. Whatever. Let's see it.
Number one, we've actually talked about this place on, was it last week's podcast or live stream? Irvine, California. Interestingly enough,
Yeah, makes sense.
Jimmy.
Jimmy B's backyard there.
Spitting distance.
Irvine, California ranked number one for gaming environment, number one for internet quality and coverage, and number 5 for gamer and developer opportunities. Interestingly enough.
That's cool.
Number
A lot
2,
of-
Jimmy M, you nailed it. Was Austin.
Yeah,
Austin,
okay.
Texas.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a big
I
spot.
think he said
recently.
I think
Great.
he literally said it's not Austin.
No, I think like Austin is just
He
like
said number 1 was not Austin, which he did nail.
Yeah,
I
just
didn't
because like
realize
Rooster
we're
Teeth
win
and all
by
that.
guessing what it's
Wasn't Austin,
not.
so you were actually-
You would've
you were
said
right.
not Spokane, Washington.
Reduction, right? We got there somehow.
Interestingly enough, Austin ranked quite low on internet quality and coverage, number 29, but they ranked number 1 in gamer and developer opportunities. So because of all the streamers, a lot of the publishers, like developers that are down there, that's where they made up ground. San Francisco was 3rd, guys. Seattle, Washington, 4th. Orlando, Florida, 5th. Okay. And without giving you the whole list, I will just say out of the top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are in California. Interestingly enough.
Wow.
Read
Yeah.
6 times.
Was affordability one of the metrics?
I will say New York was on the list.
Where's New York? Where's New
Yeah,
York?
New York was number 20.
Oh, gaming mecca, Paul.
And where they were really hurt, they were very high in gamer and developer opportunities. Obviously, a lot of interesting companies here in gaming, but very low on what they called gaming environment, and quite low on internet score. So
Thanks, Spectrum.
Yeah,
but it is.
for real.
I did think it was interesting. Obviously, California, by far, from a state perspective, dominated this list. It's no surprise. I mean, kind of where gaming has quite a bit of roots. But I did think that was an interesting list. And Christian, there you go. San Francisco represent. They were in the top 5 there. So
Didn't think
3.
San Francisco would make it, to be honest. Personally, wasn't aware. Like San Francisco Shock, I know is out there, but I really have no idea what else.
Lots of
going on in
developers,
San
right? A lot of opportunities for developers
Yeah.
in that space. What's not on here, which would make for even more interesting discussion, I think, is international cities like Montreal, for example, in Canada,
Yeah,
has a
definitely.
huge
Canada.
Toronto,
Winnipeg.
developer community, and
cities in China, like
Yeah.
huge developments there. Middle East, be really interesting to see
Yeah.
some of the Middle East stuff ranks. Like
By
Finland has a huge
Yes.
gaming culture. Helsinki.
yeah,
Yep.
Finland.
lots of high tier players come out of Finland. I don't know what it is about what they're feeding them, but lots of really, really good
Well,
players.
it's winter there,
I
like
think.
half the
Also
year
true.
They can't leave their house, and I think
Just
the internet infrastructure is really good.
We've designed
Yeah.
a country that creates the ultimate gamers.
Yeah, right.
freezing winds and fast internet speeds.
All right, guys, let's wrap things up here. What are we playing this week?
Yeah.
Has anyone been playing? William?
Heroes of the Storm surprise new patch. Tanks are stronger now.
They patched the game.
Yep. Twice
Like the
in like 2
developers
weeks.
or like fans?
Crazy.
That's
Blizzard,
surprising.
Like actually?
Yeah.
I mean, someone stole EA's source code. Did Activision Blizzard have a
Right.
leak?
Yeah, William stole it and updated it.
What if it's
Came
like
back?
some fans have broken into Activision Blizzard and are claiming to be the Heroes team and just nobody's kicked them out yet?
Yeah, that's it. They're just squatting.
There's like, we pushed another patch today. Is anyone going to figure out we don't work here?
It's like Office Space. They're like
Jimmy B, you playing anything this week? Did you play anything this week?
Got a dub last night in Warzone. Very happy about that. My sniping is on point right now, so gonna roll with it.
Okay. And if you
Jimbo
didn't play
Dang.
anything this week, I want to hear what you're looking forward to. Any game you saw at E3 that you're looking forward to, if in case you didn't play anything this week. Jimmy M.
League of Legends. Like, it's hard for me to get into single player games, now and then, just because I don't have the time, and so these multiplayer games are really just the way to go.
Have you tried Heroes of the Storm? Because that is effectively a single player game.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that joke. You got that joke? That was a good joke.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a real game, man, and it's got a lot of great characters. I will say that.
Heroes of the Storm is the best game ever made. No joke. I'm like, I'll go to the
It's a game for sure, man.
It's the
It's a game.
It's a game. It's a game.
game that you can play.
Jeff,
Ever.
what did you play? Or what did you play? Or I know you probably
I didn't
didn't
play anything, but I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the new Madden, which I know wasn't at E3, but I think it was being revealed today or sometime soon.
Jeff,
So I'm
can I
looking
ask you-
forward to that as I do every year. I really do. I get it day one. I like Madden. I love Madden.
Cool.
What were you gonna
I
ask,
know
Jimmy?
that at this point, I think.
What
Oh, I got it.
I guess, like, as a so I like FIFA. Like, FIFA is great. I think, like, what do you think generally a person like you is looking for in a year-to-year improvement in Madden or
Oh
something?
my god, the only thing I care about is the new rosters, the rookies. That's it. And then I play online with like my one friend. I'm like the worst customer for EA. I'm worth $60 every year. I don't play Ultimate Team. I don't engage with anything besides my one friend. So actually, that's not true. I play online a little bit else, but I don't do Ultimate Team or spend. So I'm not a good customer for EA. Besides the base game.
Lindsay?
So I did not play anything this week, unsurprisingly. But I am excited for the WarioWare co-op game.
Oh
Because
yes,
that's who I am.
Dude, that game
and-
is sick.
More than Breath of the Wild 2?
Hell yeah.
Really? Because I thought you really
I
liked
really
Breath of the
like-
Wild 1.
I do, but I really like playing with people. Like I'm not a very confident gamer, so at all. So like I play with people who know what they're doing and can like coach me through what I'm supposed to be doing, and that makes it a lot more fun for me. So I like co-op games a lot. Actually, I know that I'm planning on when Epic Games releases Overcooked 2 for free. I'll be all over that.
I thought they already had, or maybe it was the first one.
I'm not sure.
I'm almost sure they
keeping track
did
of it
at
for a
one
little
point.
bit. No, they did, and they're planning on releasing it for free again at some point. I don't know. Kevin's the one who keeps track of all that. However, I'm excited for it to happen because I'll definitely be playing because I loved Overcooked 1. Yeah, I'm really like I have to play with someone who knows what they're doing. Otherwise, I just don't have a good time. But I'm also going on vacation next week, so I won't be here. But after reading William's book twice, I have now picked up a suggestion from the Mots here.
Great book.
And I'm looking forward to reading that one next. So it'll be a good vacation.
Ramsey says Burning Crusade, really interested to see player and revenue numbers compared to Classic. So am I, Ramsey, because I do think only the more hardcore elements of Classic, like only the more hardcore player base of Classic moved over to Burning Crusade. And I suspect the numbers are like, there's probably a pretty steep drop from Classic to Burning Crusade. Jeff, do you know if they break it out?
No, they don't even give you WoW subscribers.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll Yeah, they'll give like every quarter some data point that makes it seem like all their games are doing incredibly well. Like it's insane to read the earnings calls. Like even Overwatch, they make it seem like it's, breaking records. They'll find something. They'll be like, Tuesday was the greatest Tuesday we've had. That was an odd numbered day in a winter month.
It's the greatest Tuesday in the history of Tuesdays.
Good. But yeah, no, they don't give WoW subscribers. I think they stopped that in like 2017 or something.
I will tell you, I mean, I haven't played WoW in a long time now, and I obviously didn't pick up Burning Crusade because I think, again, to pick up Burning Crusade effectively, you had to be really hardcore to the end into Classic. Otherwise, you're just way behind by the time Burning Crusade comes around. Like even for totally crazy geared, Nax level WoW players, Burning Crusade, like they're you still see even the top guilds like wiping in Burning Crusade. So like you really need hardcore grind to succeed going from Classic to Burning Crusade.
Paul, so tell us, what'd you play this week?
I didn't play anything this week, but I will say I struggled through E3. It was a struggle. But Battlefield has me so hyped. It's the only game I really care about coming out this year. Because Battlefield, probably one of the few games that give you that feeling like you're part of something really epic happening, right? And it's all the stuff that they do that Call of Duty never did, like deformable environments and things like that. So stuff's crashing in around you. And look, I hate having to watch a game, like an E3 announcement and not be able to play it till when's it coming out? Like end of year, makes November or something.
Probably
like
autumn, yeah.
Like, why do that? Like I want to play it now, not in November. Don't show it to me until I can play it.
There's this thing called marketing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, but by the time
Funnel
September comes around,
intent to purchase, like
Yeah. Shockingly, you might not be exactly who they're marketing it for. They might want to get people that aren't literally, waiting and know exactly that they're going to buy it.
So yeah, Battlefield 5 still like my go-to if I need half an hour of just like I need a good shooter, solid shooter to play for half an hour.
Did you like the battle royale in that?
No, but they killed that like in 6 months, basically.
Did they?
So there's this is actually an interesting one, Paul. Does it bother you? There's obviously no battle royale. And I think there's no campaign as well. I don't know if you care about that.
It's the first Battlefield that will have no campaign.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
And I couldn't care less. I never played the single.
Such a good idea. I'm tired of these games where everybody plays them for the multiplayer, like investing tons of resources in a campaign mode.
Yeah.
Like I kind of know why Call of Duty does it because I think they have a loyal single player audience that goes, and it's sort of like probably worth it. And I think they even do the campaign like separately dev now from the multiplayer, like unless I'm wrong. Like I think it's basically like just an incremental SKU for them almost that gets bundled in. But yeah, I agree. I'm tired. Like I think the biggest mistake that Titanfall made as a game was not just being multiplayer. Like
look, because William, you're so right. Because what I hope for is all those resources, all that development time goes into so much more love into the multiplayer.
Never have enough, like more, like do one thing well.
Multiplayer only.
Yeah, I agree.
What, Titanfall?
I thought the first Titanfall was multiplayer only.
No, it apparently had like the best story, but that no one played. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was so unfortunate.
And you didn't need to. Let me tell you guys right now, like it's just I played the story. Stories like I remember it being the best story, but like whatever. You just go to the multiplayer. You don't give it. You don't literally do not care. Doesn't matter how good the story is. You buy it for the multiplayer. Done.
Christian says, "Great show, guys. See you next time." Thank you, Christian, for coming. Josh says, "Rocking some Bloodborne when I want to remember how bad I am at gaming and Breath of the Wild to chill." So, Josh, you must be excited about Breath of the Wild too. Cool. And Ramsey says, "Well, I didn't rate in Classic, but still wanted to play Burning Crusade." Ramsey, I don't know if you feel behind or not, but I would think you're probably the exception rather than the rule. I think, but it's good to see that. I guess some people moved without being hardcore into Classic. Guys, on that note, that wraps up this week's live stream. Please don't forget, we do this every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern time. Stay tuned for the podcast tomorrow. It's a really great episode. Great guest, Adam Gertz from Morrison Rothman. esports law firm. And make sure to follow us everywhere, guys, on Instagram, on Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah.
We would really appreciate it. And I mean, as always, guys, we will be back next week with another live stream.